Welcome back to the iRise Summit. I am so thrilled to have Michelle Alva with us today. She is spent the last 23 years studying and practicing a variety of health, healing, and wellness modalities that unite science with ancient healing practices to provide a highly effective and easy approach to sexual healing. She developed a community for empowering couples and individuals to live consciously and explore sex and sensuality from an intuitive perspective. With a background in hypnosis, NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, timeline therapy, physical therapy, tantra and sexual trauma healing, integrative yoga therapy, sound healing, mindfulness-based meditation, and shamanism, Michelle created the Alva method of healing at the speed of light, which embraces both modern science and ancient wisdom practices to create major healing with minor effort. This form of neuromuscular, emotional, energetic bodywork seeks to integrate balance and empower your whole being. Welcome, Michelle.
Thank you so much, Nina EC. Thank you for having me, and thank you to everyone for signing up for the summit and for sharing the summit with your friends and loved ones. Really grateful to be here. It's going to be a powerful power hour.
Yes, I can feel it in my bones. I really love the way you bring that heavy way of healing into a speed of light, easy to digest and integrate method. Do you want to talk a little bit about the Alva method and where it came from?
Sure. Well, I mean, when I was 14, I had sexual trauma and I was raised Catholic and I didn't even know what sex was really, but when I had it, I found myself as a teenager on top of me. And I froze, and I really didn't want to lose my virginity in that moment. And I didn't say anything. I didn't kick. I didn't scream. I just froze and let him, do whatever he wanted. And he wasn't trying to hurt me. He was just a horny teenager, as a lot of teenagers are. But I labeled myself as damaged goods, and I thought God didn't love me anymore because you're supposed to be married and then have sex, the way that I was raised. So I was conditioned to shame myself if I was sex and young girl equals whore. And so I lived my life hiding that secret, that trauma, that I was really ashamed. And I literally thought sex after that was painful and something negative and tense. And it wasn't something pleasurable as it is today. So I discovered how our emotions and the judgments that we make about ourselves or about the situations or the stories that we make up, how heavily they weigh in our body tissues and change our physiology. So how we perceive an event contributes to that event staying in our body, the memories, and creating a lot of stress, chronic stress and tension and pain. And so I became a physical therapist. I graduated when I was 22 years old. And eventually I discovered that a lot of my clients were holding on to chronic pain. It was emotionally related. And so as a physical therapist, I didn't really feel I could help people because all I knew was the physical things. And to help myself, I had to discover shamanism, energy healing, yoga. I wanted to find out how I could help myself. And I actually had a cathartic release in the bathtub where I released Kundalini energy. I didn't even know what was happening. But when I had this tingling movement down my leg and up my body, I felt this release of the memory of when I was 14 years old. And that happened to me when I was 28 years old. I had a 3-hour Mula Bandha pelvic yoga class that caused me to contract and relax and do all these bandhas, all these tightenings and releasings that when I got home, I was really relaxed, and all these, I guess I released the memories, or I was ready, or maybe I was so relaxed, or I was just moving those deep muscles that hadn't been moved in 14 years like that. And I literally felt that I connected to my vagina in that split second when I felt that tingling release. And I cried, and I was in the bathtub, and the memory of what happened to me when I was 14 just kind of went through my body. And I heard these like messages of, you're a whore, you're a slut. But then I heard, no, you're not. You did your best. That's the past. And I just held myself and I cried in the bathtub. And after that, I felt that I rekindled, I reconnected. And then later on, I made love with my husband, and it didn't hurt me for the first time when I was 28 years old. And I actually felt supple in my muscles inside. And I knew about my anatomy because of my background as a physical therapist. So I was really curious because I felt like something just released out of me and that I felt lighter. And sure enough, since that 28 years old, that's when I began on this journey of what was that? What happened to me? And then discovering pelvic floor physical therapy, learning more about Tantra, becoming a Tantra practitioner and working with women, teaching them yoni massage and how to process the weight in the body tissues that I don't think we talk about that a lot, how your memories actually cause contraction. And it's very real how the nervous system just locks and holds, and how you can actually just release it, process it. There's steps to get there, but if a person is a meditator, if a person prays a lot, if a person does things like yoga that make them relax, belly dance, Feldenkrais, if they have certain practices already, like belly dance is awesome, and then they do the Alva method, those people are going to do really well. Or anybody that's just willing and ready to change, anyone that seeks transformation. Because sometimes we have to be suffering and we think that that's normal. So this is really about, if you want to shift your life and feel differently, you will, because you're powerful. And that's what I discovered, that we have to address the emotions and teach people how to process their own past in themselves instead of just fixing people or being the therapist or the healer for people. Why not actually teach the people how to be their own medicine woman and medicine man? And that's what this work is all about, really self-empowered healing, self-empowered transformation.
Right, I love it. It's spot on. That's exactly my experience. And I think every expert on this summit mentioned that healing happens through the body, and it's really working on all those layers of the mind and the body and the emotions and the visceral experience and the energy. And really what happens is that when we experience any form of trauma or overwhelming feelings, then our natural response is either freeze or flight or fight. And for most of us, especially when it comes to sexuality, fight is not quite an option, although for some maybe in a very violent situation, maybe a fight will also be activated. But for most of us, it's either freeze or really checking out of the body, literally leaving the body, and to bring back our energy flow, we have to really go back to that memory and re-entangle it, right?
Yeah. Well, I teach people a lot to use their diaphragm and to be the witness of their body, and just to remember that their body is always serving them. Your body, so sometimes people say, oh, I'm so sick and tired, I'm always in pain, and I just can't get through this, I've tried everything. But the thing is that the relationship people have to their pain, we don't emphasize that enough, I think, as a general practice. So we actually look at, well, what do you feel about your vagina being in pain for so many years? What's your relationship to your vagina or your anal area or your low back or your neck? Well, I can't stand it. I'm annoyed. I'm sick and tired of it. And so when we have a relationship that is hard on ourselves, we're just going to create more hardness. And I know that for sure. That's why I was like that. I was very hard on myself. And I am grateful now that I got to be in so much pain and suffering that I really practiced and studied that really well. Because I have a lot of empathy, and people relate to me. I'm very relatable because I've been through it, and people can just feel it. So I have a lot more compassion now for everyone, that we're doing our best. And what if it's all just there to teach us to be more compassionate, to be more empowered? This is part of my mission now, for creating the Conscious Sex 101 sex education class, that master class online, is to create a very straightforward, integrative way for people to learn to be sexually empowered, because a lot of men don't know what to do to that vagina, and women are complaining about their lovers. Or even, can you imagine if we taught teenage boys how to really be conscious and learn about the anatomy, their own anatomy, and the anatomy of the goddess? And so I would love to, in the future, create Tantra for teens. And I'm starting with the adults, but really my passion is let's just create the source, something positive for the source of what's missing. And I think it begins when you're young and discovering yourself. So I've worked with men that have told me my first sexual experience was negative. My mom caught me, looking at magazines, or I was touching myself in the shower and she walked in on me. And so a lot of men have shame related also to their sexual parts. And so I have so much more compassion for men, whereas before I hated men. I had this, I was looking at, and that's them and this is me. And so now, after all the yoga and meditation and Tantra, I realized that is me. We are one and we're not separate. So I'm hating the masculine energy within myself when I'm saying that I hate a man who's not even separate from me. So now I just want to love. And how can I understand better men? I think a lot of men are not as confident as they seem to be, and they really do want to know. But then if they're married, they're like, how's my wife going to say I can go see a Tantra practitioner? So there's all these other things that I've discovered that I would have never discovered if I hadn't become a Tantra practitioner and really prioritized finding out more about sexual healing. So I'm grateful today that I am a resource. I'm a safe resource and a healthy resource, and I can't stop doing this work, which has, trust me, being raised Catholic, and my family's from Peru, so South America, there's so much taboo about sex, and it hasn't been easy to come out and make these videos on my YouTube channel, Michelle Alva TV, where I'm talking about whole body orgasm and self-pleasure practices. Before, I was so nervous pressing click, to publish. But now I can't not do this work because we have to talk about it. And it's so important. It affects every aspect of your life, your sexuality. And so today I'm so grateful to have met you, Nanaisi, because you're a gift right now. You are a bridge to all of us to heighten this connection to our sexuality globally. So I'm blessing so much that everybody is inspired by these interviews to share more than ever, that you have this access to this information. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much for the beautiful words. I really appreciate, and I take it in. And I love what you said about men, because this is very important point to emphasize on, because I feel that with the Me Too movement, which was a very necessary explosion of the state of our reality, but it also left a very bitter taste of, first of all, blame towards the masculine, and also victimhood consciousness. And, my boy is 15 years old, and he came back from school one day, and he said, there's this new hashtag, men are, I don't know what it's called, but something like, fuck men, or something like that. And he was really traumatized by it. He really, I could feel how he shames himself for being masculine. And we had a great talk about it. And I really felt so much compassion for men that have not been educated, that also have, their sexuality been suppressed, and with all the porn, and there's just big mutation. And a lot of the men that have been abusers have been also abused. And so how do we turn that around for humanity, for the feminine, for the masculine, so we can come to this relationship in love, in respect, in kindness, in sacredness and playfulness and all of that.
And be a mom that has a 15-year-old. Like, I have a 15-year-old also, a girl, and she's so smart, and at the same time she knows I work with vaginas. And so just to be a person that does this type of work, we have families, we have, family members, and I respect so much what we are doing, and I'm so grateful that we are doing it. And our teenagers, there's a reason we both have 15-year-olds right now, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And a 12-year-old daughter, which is also sprouting into her sexuality, and it's such a delicate journey, and I'm so conscious about everything I share with her and guide her, and it's very sensitive.
It's interesting because today my daughter was telling me how, she knows what happened to me when I was 14, and she said to me, "Mommy, that's never going to happen to me because I won't let anybody put me in a room," or she said to me, "Plus, if anybody found out, it would be all over social media." So my daughter, she's so funny. She's like telling me if anybody did anything like that in high school, they would get kicked out of high school. So nobody would cover up for them. And it's so true. In a way, I kind of made this realization this morning that what happened to me happened because I didn't tell anyone. And there was no, I didn't want to make him look bad, but it is a different youth now where they are coming out more and they're more confident. And at least my daughter, and what she was saying in her perspective, so I had a breath of hope today where I was realizing how things are changing. And this anger, I used to be an angry woman working with women in the pelvic floor area, and I've done a lot of healing with men. And even as a Tantra practitioner, agreeing to work with men, how could I not work with men? But when I did my Tantra training, I thought to myself, I'm not going to work with men and touch penises. And, I made my own judgments. But then I asked all my clients that were men at the time if they wanted to have Tantra sessions that I just became a Tantra practitioner. Pretty much every male client was like, "Do you have anything this week?" And so I learned through practice and trial and error how to speak, with my male clients, and how to present myself and as a Tantra practitioner. And I think I'm lucky too that I was a physical therapist, and just having that more professional background, healthcare. I think people see me differently. So it's been such an easy transition, and I love working with men and women and couples, and there's no problem now. I have no fears. There's never been anything happen to me that was not in the highest integrity. And so all those taboos people have about working with men, I should make a video about that, and just say, if you're scared of men, you're going to attract reasons to be more scared. So when you have healed all that, you're just going to keep attracting men that want to open up and be vulnerable with you. And they sense how strong you are and how grounded you are and how clear you are, that they can't help but open up. And my heart is just getting emotional, because what if more women could be more believing in men, as I have, and I wasn't always like that. What if we are the ones that it's up to really create that safe space for them to open up more? And I know a man's role is for them to hold space for us. However, we cannot wait for the man to get it together. Mm-hmm. So this is where it's so important for all of us to do our inner work and release our issues and our tissues. This way we are vibrating peace and love, and we're going to keep attracting people who are able to receive, just as we are, our own peace and love.
I want you to talk a little bit more about releasing issues from tissues.
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
practicality around it.
so if there's anybody out there right now that has any type of chronic, that means it's more than 3 months, it's lasting you more than 3 months, chronic pain in your body. Maybe you have pelvic floor pain, or you have shoulder tension, maybe you have low back pain or painful sex, and it's been going on for more than 3 months. That is a sign that there may be some emotional trauma, some memories that you're holding, or maybe you had something happen to you that your nervous system is hardwired to be in this pain spasm cycle. So what we want to do for that, if you want to, and if you're interested in clearing the intensity of that pain spasm cycle, you can reset your nervous system yourself. And I love to guide everybody right now on a little process.
Yes, please.
Because this is a part of my mission, is to convince people that it's really simple to reset yourself. The most important thing is for you to be willing. So is everyone willing 100% to be open to new possibilities right now? Yes, yes, yes. And then if there's any resistance subconsciously to releasing tension, pain, or stress in your body that's been lasting for more than 3 months, are you willing to process it right now? Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, yes, yes. I am certainly ready.
And are you all ready to tap into your innate intuitive wisdom, the wisdom of your body, trusting that your body's pain has just simply been there as a gift? It's teaching you something. There's something to learn from that. Are you willing to see it like that? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so you can lean back into your chair, or you can lay down for this exercise, and people can spread their bodies open, so you can spread your arms, and you can also bring the soles of your feet together and your knees wide apart if you want. And you're going to put your hand where your ribs and your abdomen meet. So I'll just show you here, ribs and abdomen meet. This is where our diaphragm is. It's the muscle that's dome-shaped, the muscle of inspiration. And what we're going to do is we're going to feel, when we inhale through the nose, what happens here. So sense your diaphragm, your ribs, your abdomen. Notice what happens when you inhale through the nose. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to inhale slowly. Exhale, open your mouth. Close your eyes and inhale slowly through the nose. Feel what you're feeling and sensing under your hands. Inhale, inhale, inhale through the nose. And hold your breath. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Exhale. Inhale, inhale, inhale. 3 sniffs. It goes like this. Hold it, hold it. Exhale. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Inhale. Hold it for as long as you can. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Exhale. Continuing to expand and elongate. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sniffs. Stay there. Expand it even more. Hold it. Hold it. Pause. Expand it. Notice what it feels like to be so expanded, and then exhale. Let it go. And you're going to ask yourself, am I holding any tension, tightness, pain, any memories from the past in my body tissues? And just notice what comes up. Is there anywhere that I'm blocked or stagnant where I can flow more, love more, accept more, have more compassion for? And you're going to send your intention to expand there. Pretend you have a lung there. Notice if any part of your body felt it wanted to be expanded into. And you're going to send your breath there. And so we are cultivating this connection space we're creating in the body. Wherever you've been feeling that pain or tension or tightness. Did anything come up for you, Nunaisi? Like your shoulders maybe, or your jaw?
Yeah, I found some tension in my jaw. Yeah.
Did that feel good?
Oh.
So we can put our hands over that part of the body. So let's just say it was your vagina or your low back or your shoulders. You can put your hands there wherever it was. And you just inhale, inhale, inhale. Inhale, inhale. Hold it for as long as you can. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Or if it was the shoulders, mind you, you could be laying down for this one here. And hold it, hold it, hold it. So when you hold your breath, you're resetting. You're causing a pause, a reset. And when you exhale, your tension may have a sound it wants to create. So sometimes people are like, what does your pain sound like? Ow! I did this with my daughter and her tummy was hurting her. And she said, it sounds like a little cat that's dying. And she goes, ew! It was so cute. She was like 8 years old when I did this. This was years ago. And we were expressing the sound of the pain. So we're acknowledging, we're holding space for, we're witnessing it and just expressing it out. And you can feel grateful. So let's all just take a moment to feel grateful for our body, that it's always working in our favor. I love you, body. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's right. We could say thank you to the sensations of the past. Thank you for whatever I was holding on to, because I get to now strengthen my ability to flow like a river. And I get to experience a different way of embodying myself. You're not your past. So this technique teaches you to flow like a river, be a river, and use your sounds, expand your fascia, use your diaphragm. So you're expanding and elongating, and that's causing you to feel more wave-like rather than dense, contracted, and tight. And the more you feel you're a wave, quantum leaps happen. Things just show up. And that's where the miraculous, people go from an 8 out of 10 pain to 0. And they're like, what? Because they're not thinking when they do this technique. After a while, it becomes very hypnotic, and you're just there. You're with yourself, and you forget your name, you forget your age, you even forget why you're doing this. And it just feels so good. So there's a position that I ask people to go into for this exercise. It's called E3 posture. And they put a pillow under their back and they lay down in Baddha Konasana. That's reclined, bound ankle posture in yoga. You're going to be guided to do that with the free gift. So if people listen to the free gift meditation, I will be guiding you specifically to go into that position. And that's a very magical posture you can do in bed every night when you wake up, when you go to sleep. And remind yourself that you are mostly wave-like. You're more energy than you are matter, 99%. And so the more you're expanding and extending and elongating, you're going to remember that you are lightness, that it is possible to process and release at the speed of light and sound. So we're coming back to what we truly are, instead of believing that you are a rock and that you're meant to be in pain your whole life, and that your life has to be traumatic and terrible and everything negative happens to you. So those are all just beliefs that we're making more true by having them. So when we do this, and we're letting go with our sounds, we're also letting go of all those beliefs that we've glued into our DNA and put into our bodies, and we get to shake it off, as I love you, shaking before. And people can feel free to do that. when you're exhaling out, you can shake it out too. But definitely the diaphragm is the key. So I call it the divine diaphragm, and this is the reset button. So it's right here. Your diaphragm is your reset location for you to reset your nervous system, because when we reset the diaphragm, the whole nervous system rewires and fires differently. So then we get to practice neuroplasticity, and that's what this is all about, is creating new brain memories and creating something new, which is a lot of us, when we do healing work, we're wanting to heal something, but that's not enough. We have to say, well, what do I want to create now? What do I want to design now? And it's not just up to the universe to do it for you. A lot of this is about really creating a framework, a vision, and it is really powerful to have a vision. What do you want your body to feel like? How do you want your sexual life to be, and your vagina? And how do you want your vagina to feel? How do you want your partner to feel with you? So this is another aspect of the work that I learned in studying quantum physics and neuroscience, and the teachers that I've learned with really stress, look at what you want to create and have that vision. And there is so much more that we are deliberately creating, as opposed to wait for the universe to do it for you. So I'm a little different now. I don't say that anymore, where, well, let's see what the universe wants. It's more, what am I creating and who am I being right now? And I am causational, and I'm responsible for my energy field. And may I come from a place of compassion, acceptance, love, and forgiveness. CALF. CALF. That's what when my ego wants to, create more drama and go back to my old ways, I just come back to that. Compassion, acceptance, love, and forgiveness. How can I be more that? And in this situation, so I redirect myself a lot, so that I could be more of service as a vibrational being instead of hurting myself, which is what I learned how to hurt myself. I learned to punish myself. I learned to persecute myself. Being raised Catholic, there was a lot of that. I learned to guilt myself, shame myself. So I'm grateful that I had that, because it doesn't feel good. So I get to rewire myself and reprogram myself in a way that I actually desire, rather than just being a result of my upbringing and the beliefs that were imposed on me as a child. They don't work for me. I don't want to live like that. I want to, pleasure myself, and it's sacred to pleasure myself, and it is awesome for me to orgasm with myself, and I am not going to believe that is a sin. So I've created my own beliefs that serve me, and I'm 46 years old, and I feel younger than ever, and I love my life, and I serve people in a beautiful way. So people can believe whatever they want to believe. I'm going to believe that my sexuality matters in my life, and it's sacred, and it is fuel for my soul. It is my soul fuel also. And those are the beliefs that are working for me really well.
Thank you for that. That is so well said. And you mentioned responsibility, and I just want to hone that on that a little bit, because responsibility is the ability to respond. And that's very different from reacting and just automatically reacting to what we are wired and working from the reptilian brain, which is not really pausing and digesting what is the situation, and then using our inner resources to respond in a way that is serving us.
And have discernment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, this exercise that we did, the inhale, slows you down, and it causes your body to feel itself more. So the self-awareness aspect. And this is not about being this person that I never react. And that's not true for me. It's about me being aware. I'm at a place now where I notice myself wanting to react, and then I'll catch myself, whoa, I'm going into rejection mode, or my little girl's feeling threatened inside, my inner child, and then I'll put my hand on my chest. So this is how I slow myself down. It's a way of me saying, get back, Michelle, get back inside, because that little girl may want to come out and defend herself or hurt someone because I'm feeling rejected. These things happen to me, and then I'll just put my hand on my chest and I'll feel, okay, wait a minute, Michelle, let's breathe. So let's come back to the breath. And then I can notice myself having my ego come up, and I could just witness that, and I could be, okay, how do I want to feel? What do I want to create now? But it's not about, but I have to feel that rejection or that sadness or that judgment, and then flow it like a river. And then, so it's this process I work through in my everyday life, rather than just yell, because that's what I used to do, yell back and just blah, you know, and I never had conversations, you know, or relationships that were really authentic, relating, because it was all just yelling, 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 but the heart is way back here, and we're really two hurt people keep hurting each other, ourselves. And so now it's about me just diffusing my emotions, whatever came up, and realizing it came up because of my perception of what happened rather than that person. It's what I perceive just happened, the story I made up, that is what's hurting me always. And so I can be like, is this really what I want to perceive? You know, or is it coming from my past? So that's a way of not re-injuring ourselves, is to be conscious of yourself when you're deciding to trigger yourself, because we're the ones that are causing, you know, the response, like you said. Because people say, oh, I got triggered, you know, I got triggered by my mother-in-law, or my husband triggered me. So we're not putting the responsibility on ourselves when we do that. So we could say, I allowed myself to get emotionally charged by what my husband said. That would be taking more ownership. So that word triggered, I don't use it anymore as much. Consciously, I make myself aware that I am the one that is allowing myself to be triggered if I want to. So I can just be grateful. Yay! I still have something inside of me that I'm holding, and that I'm making up a story about this person, you know. And then how do I want to feel? And can I bring more love and compassion into the situation?
Yeah, and as you said, it's a daily practice, and I don't think that you ever, being human, you ever beyond it, because you know, there are situations where we can feel tired, or you know, or hungry, or irritated because we haven't slept, or being human. It's just part of the human life, and so to be able to witness that and sit with that. And I always say that guilt is a great compass, right? It tells us that something is out of integrity, so we can notice that, but to learn how to not to linger in that guilt, and just notice that and say, oh, okay, here is an opportunity to uplift my vibrations for next time, to respond differently so it's more in alignment. But I'm not going to sit in that guilt and you know, dive in it, because that doesn't serve me as well.
Yeah, it's really, like you say, I rise above this because I am love, and I rise myself, I uplift myself because I am worthy of that. And the only person that can do it is myself, to myself. I can't get it from my partner, and it's not for anyone to give it to me. I am love, and I'm deciding to rise. And for me, like, my dad left when I was 12 years old, and that was part of the reason why I think I allowed that teenager to penetrate me, because he was giving me attention, and I was starving for attention, feeling abandoned and unlovable. And so my whole journey has been about really feeling worthy and realizing, oh my goodness, I was the one I was looking for my whole life. And so, like, recently in June, I married myself, and I had my own ceremony. I got myself a ring. It says love on the ring. And it was really beautiful, because I feel that when I began to understand I am love, love is not something outside of me that I get from people. The more I love myself, the more I'm able to see the love that I am reflected in another. And that just changed everything for me. So now when I am, if I'm fancying someone, I realize I'm fancying the beautiful things about myself that I see reflected in that person instead of putting a man up on a pedestal or getting obsessed or, glorifying someone, which is what I did before, and think that they're better than me or, oh my God, you're so amazing. And I think so many of us do that, and we really have not understood what love really is. I do know now, and it's not something that I am owning someone or taking from someone. It is what I am. And so I really enjoy my life so much more now. There's so much more freedom, and I don't have to be hard on myself about it. It's not about being perfect. To me, it's more about loving myself so much that I will decide to be compassionate, accepting, loving, forgiving as much as possible. And it is amazing when we commit to self-love first, how opportunities come, more abundance flows into your life. So many miracles happen, and it just feels effervescent. Like it's a holiday, it's a celebration every day. And not to take things personally, ever. It's never about you. Everybody's doing their best. So I feel much lighter today than before. And I'm really grateful to be here. So thank you to share.
Yeah, I totally resonate with what you're saying. And when you talked about love, it's the collective understanding or relationship around love is coming from a point of view of a beggar. I beg for your love because your love will fill me, and that is a destructive force. It is all about finding that love within, and when you find it, you're overflowing with love, and then you meet the other as a whole human being that is just overflowing with love, and that is a whole different experience.
And you just get to have fun. It's so fun. It's funny because the more years go by, I realize relationships are simply there to have fun. And you learn things, and why not make that journey of learning fun? Even if it could be dramatic, when we could really just make it all more playful and discovery and more wonder and more curiosity, and feel really grateful for all the people that have been challenging in our lives, because those are the people that are teaching us the most. So we could have fun with it. This is my decision, is to have more fun in this discovery process, this life of mine.
Right. And also have a sense of humor, because the divine spirit or God, however you want to call it, has a great sense of humor. And, to notice that and really acknowledge that, you can laugh on so many things, and that completely uncharge the heaviness of things when you learn how to laugh. Right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I love you all out there. And if anything if you use that word triggered, or if anything your body's resisting and saying no, I would love to hear your comments. If there's a place, we're going to have a Facebook group, right? And I just love people to load up on there, just write whatever you're resisting, or you're like, no, because I love to hear. You don't have to agree with anything I said. It's not about us all joining on, ooh, I agree with you or not. I love to hear challenges and what people, their perspectives, because that helps us all open up and see things differently. What I have discovered is the science of healing. And so a lot of my beliefs today are in alignment with the love hormone. And so, for example, when I work with people with cancer, I ask them, on a scale of 0 to 10, how much do you love your cancer? So people, or your low back pain, let's just say, or your muscular multiple sclerosis, how much do you love it? So people will say, what? What did you just ask me? And so according to the healing hormone, healing is love. And so if a person wants to heal, it behooves them to ask themselves, well, how could I create a more loving relationship with my whatever it is that you have? That you think it is a dis-ease, it's actually happening for you. So to the degree that you're really angry about it, or angry at that question, that shines a light right away that may be an opportunity where more love can show up, more acceptance. But the first place is not acceptance and love. The first place is, let's yell about it. Let's draw the anger. Let's move and punch something. Or how do you like to express your anger? And that's where the creative, you know, we use crayons in this work that I do with people, and writing out, drawing out, dancing out, voicing out, playing the drum. So however we can express the anger, the sadness, the frustration, the not love, that's the first step, is to be with what's really there. Mm-hmm. Feel what's really there. And then when that's processed more and you feel more open to something different, well, what do I want to create? And so this is the exciting part, is where we can embrace all of it. And that's what Tantra is all about, is really what's alive in you right now. Well, there's a lot of anger inside. You know, that's where it starts for a lot of people. Why did this have to happen to me? People say that a lot. Why did I, I just want to have a great sex life. Why do I have vulvodynia or vaginismus? Or why do I have this chronic pelvic pain, chronic bladder tension? Why? So that when they can realize how asking why is not leading to healing, that is actually creating more stress, more of a tension. And so then they get to discover that that is suffering, and then they can actually discover something different because they have contrast. And so nothing is a waste. Because sometimes people come here and they've been in pain for 12 years, 20 years, and then they say, I can't believe nobody's told me about this. Why didn't I meet you before? But then that's also asking why, right? And then I'll say, well, maybe now you're really ready to really, truly have an amazing life. I think a lot of us are scared to have an awesome, epic, totally amazing life. I think because there is so much suffering on the planet, that some of us don't feel we're worthy, or that we deserve it, or if I'm having a great life, then my in-laws or my family over there, what are they going to think of me, because they're suffering. So there is actually, I think, a big unspoken thing about, are you okay having your dream life? Are you okay feeling awesome after 45, and being more orgasmic after 50? Because that's what happens with my clients. And so some people think that their sexuality goes down when they get older, but it is not true. It's so not true. So I love when somebody's like, can you really help me, Michelle? And I'm like, yeah, how willing are you to open up to those possibilities? And that's what I love my job, because I work with people over Zoom, over the phone, people from all around the world. And it's so much fun to see what's possible even over the phone. And I feel very magical and very miraculous life. And this is what I want to remind us all, that we are divine and sacred and miraculous and magical, and that's our nature to be that. So thank you for allowing me the space to share and shine. And it wasn't always like this for me. I didn't masturbate till I was 37 years old, and I'm 46. So I only learned Tantra in the last 3 years. And so that's part of the reason why I feel like a little kid, in a candy store, because I'm learning. I was so shut down. And so if I can overcome and see the light that I was all along now, you can definitely do it. And it's never too late. And that's what I want to remind everybody.
I second you on that one. I also went through that entire process of being disconnected and in pain and not feeling my sexuality and being frustrated and being hopeless almost in some stages, and yet doing the work. And it takes that work, and it doesn't have to be heavy and miserable. It can also be, as you so beautifully stated, it can be quantum leaps and just easy energetic jumps if you are on board.
Open to it. Yeah, if you're open to it and you feel worthy of it. Yeah.
Right. And the whole idea is that pain is got lots of gifts, and always, with no exception. And the journey and the initiation is to turn and transform that pain into purpose, into power, and into pleasure. Right?
I love that. Purpose, power, and pleasure.
Exactly.
Turn your mess into your message. That's what I've done. I would have never thought at age 22 in physical therapy school that I would be doing, Tantra practices and teaching people about linga massage, yoni massage, orgasmic sex, and ecstatic, sexual expansion. I never, ever, ever would have guessed that on my own, and how your sexuality matters, and your sexuality is a part of everything you do, and it's your natural way of connecting to love, that you are the energy of love. And so I see a world where there's more education, there's less taboo, and that's a part of the reason why I have a video series that I created on my website. It's called Deeper Connection, Intro to Tantra for Couples, and I literally made videos teaching people how to connect with their partner. And I did this, it happened in one day. It was a download, I just got this message, you have to put these videos out. And so they're very simple to understand, and it demystifies sometimes there's a lot of taboo with even Tantra. And so because of my physical therapy background, some of it is actually very therapeutic. I can't help it. It comes through me, where women and their partners can be healing and pleasuring simultaneously, and connecting to their energy. And why not? It's really good for your low back to do Tantra in the way that I teach it. So this is something that's exciting for me now, to put these videos out there into the world. And people get to join the conscious love community and get to meet other people that are saying yes to conscious sexuality, and that they want to come from this place of empowered, expansive, energetically connected, heart open sex, and the power of your sexuality. And I'm really grateful to get to be a part of this summit, and I can't wait to hear what people benefit, from the different speakers, and how we help to change people's lives by offering these interviews. So thank you so much, Nuna EC. And people, make sure to click down below, and you can listen to the free gift, the Release and Heal audio, and let me know how it benefits you. And that's going to teach you how to process like a river. It's 20 minutes, and it helps people that are holding any type of tension, pain, trauma. It's great. I listen to it myself too when something comes up. So
thank you so much, Michelle, for showing up and for
My
doing
pleasure.
what you're doing. A light sister in the other side of the world.
I know.
Love you so much. From just,
Thank you so much for having me.
it's a first see love,
Yes.
feeling that vibration that you carry so gracefully and with so much passion and lightness and humor, and love it.
Thank you so much, Nuna EC. Thank you, everyone. Keep us posted,
Keep us posted. Our Facebook comments below, so please share with us. Anything, takeaways, whatever comes up for you, questions, we are going to answer it, and that's how we can help each other and support each other to grow on this journey. We are all in this together.
Yes, and make sure to share this summit with everyone. And, people can also schedule free 15-minute clarity calls with me on my website, michellealva.com. If you want to have a one-on-one call with me, ask me anything that maybe sometimes people are too embarrassed to post on the Facebook group. We're both here as resources for you and all the speakers in the summit, because those calls can be so healing. There's certain things let's just get that out there and share and open up, because believe me, somebody's gone through what you're going through, and it's so healing when we share, just like what we did right now. It is so healing when we can really speak and open our hearts and our voices, and I know it's changed my life. So thank you so much, everyone. Big hug to all. Thank you.
Thank you, and ciao until the next time.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.